Hello, in this demonstration, I am going to use a cereal box. In this case, it's a oatmeal box that I've unfolded. And there's another half. You should get two halves. Anyway, I'm going to use this as a surface to create a mixed media painting, almost like a tapestry. And the reason I chose this, I was doing a little test, and I'm going to put gesso on here. And what happens is I'm going to start carving away at this with a stick, and the paint just seems to glide on this surface, and then I'm going to get kind of random patterns showing through. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some of these sticky dots on here. I have different colors. Again, it's random. I can also rip them into smaller sections. And when the gesso goes over this, there's going to be a slight dimensional layer of that circle left that should show through at the end. Being pretty liberal here. Okay, then I'm also going to put some blue tape on there. Okay, now comes, now I'm going to put gesso on here. And then carve away with a stick. Okay, so I'm putting that on there pretty liberally. And gesso, I mean, when this dries, I'll have some of this textural brush mark. I'm going to be scraping it, and I'm going to get some other dimensional layers. And it's got kind of a nice gritty texture to it. I think they put marble dust in it. So that's fun to play with. Okay, now I'm going to take my chopstick, and then I can just kind of randomly draw in there some lines, which means the colors from those stickers and the cereal box will show through. I can scrape with the back of the chopstick. If I want to scrape out more, I can use my angled palette knife. And then if I don't like what I'm seeing, I can just go over it. And then I'm going to get more of these dimensional blobs, which I like. So really what you're doing at this point, you're just kind of playing around until you get a surface treatment or texture that you like. You can do this for quite a while. So if I don't like it, I just erase and I can go at it again. Okay, so I think you get the basic idea. This will need to dry. It should dry pretty rapidly out in the sun. You can also hit it with a blow dryer if you want. And then the other thing you can do at this point is actually put some collage material down I'm using the gesso. It's wet enough. I'm using that as a glue. So I'm going to put some of these little collage pieces down. If it's thicker, you probably want to use some gel medium after it's dried, but I'm going to go ahead and plop those in there and then let that dry. And then, of course, cooking show style, I've got one waiting in the wings. So here is a piece that I worked on that's already dry. And I'm going to go kind of traditional here. I'm going to start with a transparent wash layer using my Indian yellow high flow. And you probably want to choose your color palette ahead of time. And as usual, I recommend, starting with sort of 3 colors and then branching out. Okay, so there's a wash. Fun thing to play with is I can get a rag and I can wipe away certain areas. If I make it damp, I think I'm going to be able to wipe away more. Yeah, a little bit more. So it's like erasing painting. I can make some areas brighter, leave some darker. I can also come in with, if I can find it, my charcoal pencil, which is rolled away somewhere, but I could draw on top of that with charcoal pencil. I can't find it. It ran away. Okay, so I'm going to have to skip that then. All right, so then ideally, I might let that dry, but that's not going to happen since I need to move on to the next step, which would be adding some dry brush. And I'm going to go with a cadmium orange, a little bit of red, and then I'm going to go over with some blues. Okay, so again, I'm layering. Went wash. Now I'm going to go dry brush, low 45-degree angle. And then when I drag on top, there's that gesso that I scraped and the texture from the paintbrush. I'm going to pick up on all of those textural marks. I'm going to pick up on those circle shapes. Like the Amoodle warm-up, I'm not really thinking about composition just yet. I'm just thinking of unifying overall unification here. Okay, I'm just going to put in a little bit of red. Randomly highlight some areas. Okay, now I'm going to shift over to blue. I'm going to push it more towards a blue painting. Again, ideally, I might hit this with a blow dryer, dry some of that paint. And we've been looking at rugs, so you could kind of think of your painting as a patchwork of color, a tapestry of color that you're trying to weave or knit together. Now I'm going thicker blobs of impasto. And if I want to work back, doing some sgraffito, some finer marks, I can do that. I'm doing it with the tip of this palette knife. I've also got, this is the one with the teeth. I can scrape through. Okay, so then I really would need to let that dry. And I've got another one waiting in the wings. So here's another one that I did. Oops. Okay, so what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to show you one that I finished. Okay, so here's one that I finished that I quite like. I like the odd shape of the cracker box edge. What I'm going to encourage you to do is that little side flap, cut it or rip it away. Then I put this on a piece of Bristol paper, and then I'm going to overlay these. It's going to be even a little bit more dimensional to make another composition. And what I chose in this one, so here it's hard to see now, it's so integrated. Here's part of the side flap, and then here's another part of the side flap in two smaller pieces. So I cut them up, almost feels like a mural. So I'm going to use this as my main backdrop for my piece. And then I'm going to overlap these, and I can also cut portions. I can cut them apart. And kind of move them around puzzle-like fashion to create a new composition. And then this is where I can also bring in some different collage material, different collage pieces, and fill in these gaps if I want. I would be gluing this down with a gel medium to this surface of Bristol paper or whatever it is you choose. So gold is kind of nice here. I could line up that gold and make a new composition. And if you feel nervous to cut it, remember, it is just a cereal box. Okay, so something needs to go in here. I'm not sure what it is yet. There might be another piece of collage material from a pile somewhere that I have. Excuse me. So I would glue this all down with gel medium, and then I can do more painting on top if I want. I could layer some more collage pieces, and then I would wind up with a piece like this. And if you want, if you're not really an abstract person, you could integrate recognizable pictures into the piece. There's other things you could do with it. I mean, you could, that could be a tapestry with faces if you wanted. It's pretty open-ended.